Hi, my name is David Carrico, and today we're going to go through the Yongnuo YN622 in flash triggering system and how to utilize it. So we have a YN622N TX transmitter, we have a few transceivers, as well as Nikon compatible flashes and obviously a camera. So the first concept that I wanted to introduce is channels. And Yongnuo supports 7 channels, and the reason there are multiple channels are so that you can set up your system so that it doesn't interfere with other photographers, or if other photographers are using your channel, the same channel as you can change your channel so that you don't interfere with each other. Otherwise, if you're utilizing the same channel, they could be accidentally firing off your flashes and vice versa. So first thing to do really is set up a channel. I tend to always select a consistent channel unless I have to change it to avoid other photographers. The channel I usually choose is channel 3, and the way you select that is through this zoom channel button. And on the Yongnuo TX transmitter, the buttons work in one of 2 ways. A short press will perform the left hand function, and a long press performs the right hand function. So channel is on the right hand, so I'm going to long press this, and when I do that, 3 is blinking, and then I can use these buttons down below to scroll through basically the list of 1 through 7. And I'm just going to set mine back to 3, but you do have 1 of 7 channels to choose from. And you can press the middle button here, the selector button, to lock that in. Once you've done that on your transmitter, you want to go to each of your transceivers and turn those on and make sure that your transceiver is set to the same channel. This is set to channel 3 already, but I am going to scroll through just to show you that once you get past channel 3 on here, it represents 4, 5, 6, and 7 as various combinations of channel 1 through 3, since there's only 3 lights on here. So right now it's on channel 3. I'm going to go to 4, which is C1 and C2 together. 5, 6, 7 is all 3 together, and then it goes back to 1. So again, I'm just going to scroll through to 3. This transceiver is already set to 3. The next concept I wanted to chat with you about is groups. The transceiver supports 3 groups, A, B, and C, and you can scroll through the various settings for each group by hitting the group button, and that moves this little triangle to sit beside A, B, or C. And whatever group that triangle is sitting next to is the active group that you can control through the other buttons. So right now it's sitting next to A, and A is currently set to TTL. I can set that to one of 3 modes: TTL, manual, or to super sync. And so I'm just going to scroll through here to show you. The next one after TTL is manual, then super sync, and then blank. And blank basically means that you're not using that group. And so all 3 of my groups are off right now. I'm going to hit the mode button one more time, just go ahead and set A back into TTL, and that basically allows you to use the iTTL system where your camera controls all the aspects of the flash duration and power through its metering system. And so once I've set that, I've set, again, group A to TTL. I can set this onto my camera, turned it off first, set it back on here, lock it down, turn it on, then turn on my camera, and that's basically ready to go. And I'm going to adjust my camera real fast, the sync shutter speed, because I had that in auto FP before. I'm just going to adjust that back, and then I'm going to go over to my flashes. I have an SB600 and an SB900 here. I'm going to turn on the SB900 One important note when you're dealing with your flashes with the Yongnuo system is you always put them in TTL. And that's regardless of whether you want to control them manually or through TTL. You always put them on TTL on the transceiver itself. And then if you want to control the power manually from the transmitter, you can go ahead and adjust that on here. And it does all the communication with the flash, but the flash is always in TTL. The only reason you would take it out of TTL in using the Yongnuo system is if you want to use the Yongnuo triggers as if they were dumb triggers, and you would walk over to your flash to actually physically adjust the power levels. But if you want to remotely control the manual settings, you always have your flash in TTL. So this transceiver is set to group A. I'm going to just put it off to the side here. We're using one of my son's toys as a model here. Again, I have my TX set for group A TTL. I'm just going to take a quick exposure. So that again controlled everything through the camera system itself, and it made all the decisions. I can also, I'm on group A right now. I can also perform flash exposure compensation. I do that through using these scroll buttons. The up and down actually adjust exposure compensation by plus or minus 1/3 stops. So if I hit down, it'll go to -0.3, -0.7, -1 EV. If I use the left to right buttons, those jump one stop at a time. So if I hit to the right button, that goes back to 0 exposure compensation because I increased by 1. Or if I hit the left, it goes to back to -1 EV because that's reducing the exposure compensation. So I'm going to go ahead and set it to -3 just so you can see a big difference here. And I'm going to take another shot here. Okay, so that shows quite a bit of difference in light there. And now I'm going to introduce a second flash. And again, that's on group A. I'm going to turn this flash on, and again, this is in TTL. And I'm going to turn on the transceiver, and it's currently set to group A, so I'm going to press that button until B shows up. So this is going to be group B. I'm just going to set it right here. This is not going to be a great shot. In fact, I think even at 1/128th, given the amount of distance here, we're probably going to overpower this, but we're going to test it out just in case. I'm going to take my TTL and I'm going to put that back to 0 exposure compensation. Then I'm going to hit group to go down to B. I'm going to hit mode. That goes to TTL first, but I want to actually put this in manual. So I put it in manual. Right now it goes to my last setting, which is 1/128th power. And similar to in TTL, I can adjust the power settings using these scroll buttons, with the top and bottom buttons being 1/3 exposure compensation or 1/3 adjustment, and then the right and left being full stop. And so I can go all the way up to full power 1:1, and then I'm going to put this all the way back down to 1/128. So now we're set. My group A is set to TTL with no exposure compensation, and my other flash is set to group B and 1/128th power set manually. Now I'm going to take the shot, and this is at 1/128th is actually still way overexposed, but you'll see you can see that it actually did go ahead and shoot off, and that's basically it. A couple of other features that are on here are that the system does support auto FP, or Nikon's version of high-speed sync, so I guess I can go ahead and show that. And then the other thing that I'll show you is the zoom capability of the flashes. So I'm just going to turn off this SB600, and I'm going to concentrate on the SB900 that we have over here. And likewise, I'm going to turn off, again, scroll through group B until it's blank. So I've turned off that group since that SB900 is on group A. And I'm going to set my shutter speed at, oh, first I gotta change my menu setting. I'm gonna go to Auto FP, set it at 250th of a second Auto FP flash sync speed. So I've done that. Now I'm gonna adjust my shutter, and I'm gonna go I'll go all the way to 1/1/8,000th of a second. And we are on TTL on group A. Now what this will do is we'll basically black out the ambient exposure, and so it'll just be the flash. So I'm going to adjust where that flash is coming in a bit, just so you see the flash power. But there we go. Basically, you can see the light on the front grille and the wheel, a little bit of the cab, and that's about it. All the ambient exposure is blacked out just because of the the shutter speed. Now I'm going to show you the zoom. Now I'm going to go back here. This is actually set at 35mm zoom, and the reason for that is I actually have it manually set within this at 35. And to get to zoom, I short press, and it shows group A, and I can scroll up and down within this to show different values. So it goes from 24, 28, 35, 50, 70, 85, 105, 120, 135, 180, 200, and then it goes back to automatic. And then I can lock in the value by hitting that center button. And I set it to automatic just to show you that once I wake up this flash again, right now it's set at 17mm because that's what my lens is at. But if I scroll through, I can hear it zooming, and it is now at 50mm. So, and again, I could have manually set it to any of those values that I stated there if I wanted to, really have consistent control of how the light pattern showed up in my exposures. So again, Auto FP, zoom. We're not going through SuperSync today. That pretty much covers, the functionality on here. The one thing I didn't show you is the focus assist light. You can turn that on and off with a short press right here, and there's an indicator on here if it's on. I'm not going to go into too much detail on that. I'll let you work through that on your own, and that's really it. Pretty straightforward, powerful, consistent system. Really happy with it so far. If you have any questions, please ask those in the comments section. Thanks a lot, and see you next time.